A lot of Kentucky faithful have found their way to Colonial Life Arena. It's been almost 7 years since the Cats of Kentucky have been labeled the top team in the land. Tonight, Darren Horn's Gamecocks await, and that #1 ranking gets its first test tonight on the road here in Columbia. It's the SEC on ESPN, and we bring you Super Tuesday, presented by KFC. It's all part of ESPNU Campus Connection Week. And yes, indeed, Kentucky, a perfect 19-0, is the #1 team in the country for the first time in almost 7 years, and off to their best start in 44 seasons. The only undefeated team left at 19-0, and as you can see, atop the conference standings in the East at 4-0. Vandy right there, nipping at their heels. But John Calipari's done a remarkable job, second coach in NCAA history, to take 3 schools to the #1 ranking. And of course, Frank McGuire did it at one time right here in Columbia, South Carolina. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Jimmy Dykes. Our Super Tuesday matchup should be something indeed. Kentucky, Jimmy, they've worked for this the whole season. 19-0, trying to go to 20-0, but now they got that giant target on their back. And can this young team maintain that #1 ranking?
Rather, the 15th youngest team in the country, but they have had an answer for every challenge so far. They've desired the #1 ranking since game 1, and now 19 games later, they have it. The question for Kentucky tonight, they take the ranking on the road for the first time, and they go up against the most electrifying guard in the SEC in Devin Downey. Think about this. Devin Downey, though, he can't do it by himself.
No.
Does he have enough help to pull off the upset?
He's going to have some help. We saw him be sensational against Florida over the weekend, and look what he's averaging. Almost 32 points a game in SEC play, leading the conference. DeMarcus Cousins, just one of 3 freshmen starting for this team, and he's been sensational.
Brad, he is sensational. I think in the NCAA tournament, DeMarcus Cousins could be the most difficult guy to defend around the rim in the entire tournament.
So let's take a look at our starting lineups for John Calipari. As we talked about, Eric Bledsoe, another one of the freshmen with John Wall, and Darius Miller, who's coming off a career-high 18-point game in the win over Arkansas over the weekend. Up front, it is DeMarcus Cousins and the veteran Patrick Patterson. For the hometown Gamecocks of South Carolina, Devin Downey, he's something to watch. Brandis Raley-Ross got to give him some help back there, though, tonight. Lakeem Jackson, Austin Steed, and Sam Muldrow, the #2 shot blocker in the conference, joined the group up front. For Darren Horn in just his second season. Last year they went 7-1 in the SEC at home. Their lone loss was to Tennessee in here. They went 10-6 in conference play, and that tied Tennessee for first in the East. And on the other side, John Calipari in his first season at Kentucky, but his 18th year overall, with 464 victories coming in. There's the man to watch, and there's John Wall, the freshman sensation, who may indeed be one of the top 5 players in the entire country. Big question is, could he be the SEC's player of the year when they got #2 on the other side, wearing garnet and black? Cousins and Muldrow. Set to jump Mike Stewart, John Cahill, and Mike Nance are our officials. And Kentucky at #1, and time to defend that ranking. Here we go.
Brad, as you would expect, when the newly crowned #1 team comes into the building, it is rocking at a fever pitch. Very important for South Carolina to get out to a good start against Kentucky.
And immediately, we got a foul. Going to go on Steed, making a start tonight. Austin Steed picks up the first foul of the ball game. Wall will be guarded by Lakeem Jackson.
South Carolina man-to-man defense, but look at all 5 gray jerseys inside the 3-point line.
Kentucky turns it over as Bledsoe threw it away. Downey all the way on the other end, and the foul comes from Muldrow. That's what we said. They needed some inside presence. He gives them the first 2 of the ball game. Here's Cousins. Nice drop step to the baseline and up and under.
His feet about as quick as there is in the college game around the rim. And for a guy 6'11", 280 pounds, that is a rare combination.
Fast pace to open the game. South Carolina turns it over, however.
Brad, the first 2 possessions, South Carolina has really packed the defense. So will Kentucky continue to get clean looks around the rim against a packed-in man-to-man defense?
quick dribble. Right hand scoops no good around Muldrow. And back comes South Carolina.
This kid with the basketball is a magician. He takes 22, 23 shots per ball game, and he's going to get his. It's just a matter of when.
Jackson misses in close, but tracks down his own miss. Rayleigh Ross. No good on the three, and Cousins a rebound. Wall guarded by Downey now. Miller, nice bounce pass. Bledsoe and a block by Muldrow. Gamecocks come the other way. Jackson up under. Cousins going to scramble for the loose ball, and he comes up with it.
South Carolina wanted to keep the crowd in the ball game early, and they have.
And just like that, Wall can take away that momentum in an instant as he knocks down the three.
A great backdoor cut, just taking what the defense gives you by Bledsoe, but he doesn't elevate and he doesn't go strong with two hands expecting contact to come. Had he done it, he may have drawn a foul.
And Mike Stewart's over there. I think he's checking to see whether or not that was a 2 or a 3 by John Wall. It was very close. Looked to me like it was a 3, but Mike's going to have a peek at the monitor, and we'll take a look too. That's a three-pointer, his 17th of the year.
The reason why South Carolina starts the ball game in a packed-in defense, Brad, Kentucky only making 6 3-point shots per game at 30% in conference play. So that is a little bit of a question mark from the Big Blue.
So Kentucky's got its first lead. Downey's going to draw a crowd in the backcourt. Patterson comes to double team him, and they force the turnover.
Downey tried to attack the hip of Patrick Patterson, but Patterson, a veteran, got both feet set and never budged.
When you talk about all the youth, the freshman talent on Kentucky, you forget how good Patrick Patterson is. And he's a preseason SEC all first-team performer. Yep. And he gets lost in the shuffle with all these young guys. Well, that's the second time Cousins has done the same move. And the second time it's been successful.
Brett, I really think during March Madness, 15 in blue, DeMarcus Cousins will be the most difficult guy to defend one-on-one around the rim. Because of his strength, he can bump you just a little bit, and his foot speed is just right there with about any 6'1 or 6'2 guard across the country. Terrific speed in his sneakers.
This is a chance for a three-point play. But he does have 4 early in a 7-4 Kentucky lead. Devin Downey yet to score in the first 2:45. Jefferson, nice battle on the boards, but it's won by Wall. And Wall runs it. Miller for 3. Muldrow's going to go to the deck. Everybody's going to go to the deck trying to come up with a loose ball, and it's Downey. And it's 3-on-2. Rayleigh Ross on a nice drive. Got to get back. And Bledsoe with a scoop shot to put Kentucky back in front by 3.
Kentucky can do what North Carolina did last year. You score on Kentucky, they can score at the other rim within 2 or 3 seconds.
South Carolina's last in the SEC in assists.
A one-on-one offense.
And there's a foul down low. And Cousins. Cousins had some foul trouble early in the season. He's been able to put together in the last 5 games. He's averaged about 24 minutes a game, but he was sitting a lot in the early part of the year because of getting in the foul trouble situation. Jefferson at the free throw line. Jandre Jefferson, a junior, out of Santee, South Carolina. Neither team helping itself from the free throw line so far. South Carolina last in the conference as a team foul shooting. Patterson gets a breather, and Perry Stevenson, another veteran senior, comes into the Kentucky lineup.
Will South Carolina choose to press if they make this free throw? I think Darren Horn's going to go with gut feelings tonight, when to press and when not to. But can't make the free throws, it doesn't matter.
No. Here's Wall ahead of the pack. Adjusted to get the pass to Miller. Nice battle for the rebound. Muldrow and Cousins, look out. A lot of strength under there. Muldrow at 6'9", and Cousins about 6'11".
Brad, teams are going to try to get into the head of DeMarcus Cousins going forward. Now, he has handled it very well the last 2 or 3 weeks. Just watching them on film, I've seen teams take shots at this guy, grab him, talk to him a little bit, push him. But John Calipari has this guy under control right now.
Playing with a lot of poise to have 3 freshmen in a starting lineup. Almost unheard of, especially to be the #1 team in the country. Ball, he'll try to fadeaway jumper. Cousins. Wow, just kept battling. 6 early for DeMarcus Cousins. And Kentucky out in front by 5.
Did you see how quick his second jump was for a guy 6'11" and 280? Man.
Downey through traffic, lost the handle out of bounds. So far, it's been the DeMarcus Cousins show. He's had a couple of up and unders like this one. 6 points early for Kentucky, and they lead 11-6.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by KFC. Ready to unthink the wing? Try new fiery grilled wings only at KFC. And in part by Mazda. Zoom, zoom forever.
From the capital of South Carolina, we started so fast and furious, we haven't had a chance to check in with the third member of our team, Janine Edwards.
Well, Brad, as you guys know, it's been quite a week for Kentucky basketball. They secured their first #1 ranking since 2003. They held a one-day fundraiser that brought in $1.3 million for the victims of the Haitian earthquake. And at 1:25 p.m. this afternoon, they received a very special phone call. President Obama was on the line to congratulate them on their success and their generosity. And Coach Calipari admitted he was nervous, telling the president, quote, "You have no idea how much this means to us." And Obama told the team how proud he is of them. And then he said, guys, now that you're #1, stay focused. Brad, he's quite a Kentucky basketball fan.
He's quite a basketball fan in general. He talked with John Wall and Patrick Patterson as well. Says, I've been following your game. So far, Kentucky, if he's following this game, the president, that is, has seen Kentucky go out to a 5-point lead in the SEC's leading scoreless so far in almost 5 minutes.
Brad, it's really a memorable moment this afternoon. I was in there with Kentucky when they got the phone call from the president. And when his secretary said, Coach Calipari, please hold for the president, it was something different. You don't hear that every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The entire room was quiet, and Coach Cal said,
okay.
Yeah, it's as nervous as I've ever been, he said.
Muldrow. I'm not quite sure that's the shot they're looking for from number 44. Although he has hit 9 threes this year. Wall on the drive, and he missed in close. South Carolina will slow it down. You know, they didn't have 1 point in transition against Florida the other day when we did their game. That's amazing. You almost can't go a whole game without getting 1 breakaway basket.
Florida was very good in their transition defense. And they didn't turn that ball over much.
If you missed that game that Jimmy and I had, Devin Downey had 36 points and almost won the game in the final 5 seconds, were it not for Chandler Parsons' 3 at the buzzer that won it for the Gators. Nice ball movement by Kentucky without even putting it on the floor. But they throw it away. Big guy trying to get a pass to his teammate John Wall and throws it out of bounds. Here's what we were talking about as we flash back to the O-Dome. Final seconds. Here's Devin Downey going down through traffic. A group of Gators there, and he got through with a shot off the glass. But then Irving Walker got the pass from Dan Werner out of bounds and got the open look to this guy. And for the second time this year, Chandler Parsons with a buzzer beater to win a game.
Great job by Irving Walker to not force a bad shot and realize they had enough time for the pass to Parsons. I've watched that thing 4 or 5 times. I've slowed it down. When I watched it live with you, I didn't think Devin Downey double dribbled, and I still don't think so. I think a Florida player got contact on the ball.
I agree with you.
But it looked like it.
Could have been about 3 fouls called on that play, too, probably. Patrick Patterson misses an outside jumper. So 2 of the big guys Muldrow and then Patterson taking the outside shot. Neither successful. College hoops continues with a Big East ACC doubleheader Wednesday night. 7 o'clock. Fighting Irish take out Villanova. Then at 9, John Shire leads the Blue Devils against Florida State in a key midseason ACC matchup. Florida State got another tight win over Georgia Tech. They swept Georgia Tech in a couple of close games. ACC's getting shook up a little bit.
It is.
Carolina's struggling. And right now, Maryland and Virginia looking awfully good.
Florida State can win because them dudes can defend now.
There's Devin Downey for 3.
Brad, he takes 1 out of every 3 shots. 1 out of every 3 comes from this guy. So after you go about 2 empty possessions in a row, you know it's Devin Downey time.
And that John Cahill this time is going to go to the scorer's table to check the monitor to see if Devin's foot was outside the line. That one's a little bit out of my monitor. I can't quite tell.
It looks
I'll
like
be able to tell from here, I think. That's still good.
3.
Still enough space between that red line. As our guys give us a second look, and you can see space between the front of his roughly size 9.5s and the red line that circles the arc for the three-point shot.
Brad, he has a great, consistent lean back to his shot, similar to Chris Lofton in this league a couple of years ago. When he goes up, see how he leans back? Now, he's being guarded by 6'7" DeAndre Liggins, but watch him lean back and get the shot off. That's a 3.
That's the best look right there.
But he leans back just enough, and he's very consistent with it.
It'll be his 41st three-pointer.
Remember, it's from where you took off, not from where you land. I think you make Devin Downey, talking to Darren Horn, do something other than make threes or clean layups at the rim. You make him take a lot of tough twos in this ball game if you're Kentucky.
We were talking about that lane where you had that gray spot painted on Saturday. That's the one that seems the most definitive. It looks like there's at least an inch or 2 in there. So 11-9 with the three-pointer by South Carolina.
If you wore a 10 instead of a 9.5, it's a 2.
You got it. I'm guessing on his shoe size, but I'm close.
You're close. He's only about 5'8". South Carolina going to keep that defense packed in, see if Kentucky will make and take threes.
Bledsoe leaves it underneath for Orton. Daniel Orton, another big freshman, 6'10", 255-pounder. The tallest team in college basketball, Kentucky.
Brad, if you're going to pack your defense, you cannot allow straight line drives like that after one pass. No way.
One too many dribbles maybe by Devin Downey that time. And they're going to call, I think, a foul on Liggins. We're swarming Devin Downey. Jackson comes back in. Muldrow's going to get a breather. Vanulis into the lineup for the first time for South Carolina. He started on Saturday against Florida. This is his first action. He'll bring it in to Downey with 12:45 remaining in the first half.
Liggins at 6'7", on Downey at 5'9". Downey's not a jet, but he is outstanding at changing speeds with that basketball.
Galloway threw it away. Not sure where that pass was at. Bledsoe gets it back out to Patterson. And South Carolina does another nice job defensively. And here's Wall with a quick crossover dribble, but he missed the jumper. And it's going to be a foul on Kentucky. Daniel Orton picks up his first.
John Calipari, one of the great multitaskers in all of college basketball. This morning for about 45 minutes, he was on one treadmill and I was on the other. And during that time frame, he took 3 phone calls. He talked to his staff about the presidential phone call from Barack Obama. He told me about his ball club. At the same time, he's watching MSNBC, keeping an eye on the happenings in Haiti.
Don't kid around. You probably took 12 phone calls while he took 3.
Yeah, but
I know how you act.
He multitasked it a lot better than I did. He thrives in chaos and having a lot to do. That's when he's at his best.
Right now, his team up 4. Downey not in the lineup, so Rayleigh Ross would be their shooter. And he got it for three.
Boy, a great lift of the basketball on the shot fake by Rayleigh Ross.
And Spinella comes up with a steal. Kentucky turns it over. Gamecocks can regain the lead if they score this trip. Galloway, another turnover. He's got to calm down a little bit. 7th turnover suffered by South Carolina. Only trailing by 1, though. Hail to the Wildcats and hail to the Chief. The presidential phone call is coming up when we return.
Hello.
Hi, it's Katie Johnson calling the President Obama.
Okay. This is John Calipari.
Okay, great. I'm going to put him on. Hold on 1 second.
You know, there are phone calls from friends. There are phone calls from relatives. There are friends from the past that want tickets. And then there's phone calls like the one the Wildcats basketball team got today from the president.
The main reason I'm calling is that for you in the middle of the season to take the time to do something like this for people, you know, who you don't know but you've seen and who touched you, I think is just a great testament to each of you individually. It's a great testament to your program, and it's a great testament to Kentucky. So I just want to let you guys know that I'm very, very proud of what you guys did, and it shows a lot of character.
The Hoops for Haiti telethon that Kentucky did with its players and all its fans and everybody else that contributed raised, as Janine said, over $1 million for Haiti relief. And great cause, and the kids were just, they were all in awe today too. You know, it's like the president's on the other line here.
Yeah, and you know what, the kids actually were very active in that telethon, answering phone calls, and people called in crying about what they had seen in Haiti. And it is still very much a heavy heart for John Calipari when you bring up that situation. Funny, Patrick Patterson, after he spoke to the president, he walked out of the room and came over to me and he said, "Jimmy, how did I do?" I said, "I was a nervous wreck, man, talking to the president." I said, "You did well, big fella."
He said he had it all planned, but he thought he slipped up a couple times. Well, South Carolina just slipped up a chance to take the lead, but it was last touched by Kentucky, so they'll have another shot at it here. So you're not going to reset the shot clock. He hammered that thing at the rim.
It's usually Devin Downey time, but he's away from the basketball right now.
Kentucky maintains a 1-point lead, almost the midway point of the first half. Cousins, this time he goes in the lane, but he walks. Well, he'd been working that baseline. This time they cut him off at the pass, and he decides to try to go with a hook shot, and he walked with it. This crowd's just waiting. They just want one shot to go down to try to get South Carolina to lead back.
Brad Cousins has been so good at not getting in a hurry, but this time he does a good job of getting his defender off the floor, but then he started playing a few RPMs too quick. He's too big. No reason for him to have to speed up.
Devin Downey has a look in the rearview mirror. Bledsoe right on his hip, but he's going to take the jumper, and it's short. Cousins will take it out of midair. Dotson for three. Got it. He's a good three-point shooter. And he stretches Kentucky's advantage back to 4.
Brad, that's another question mark on Kentucky. Not only the three-point shooting, but that three position. Right now, Miller has the starting position. Liggins comes in. Darnell Dotson. If they can get good numbers from those three guys, this club is certainly Final Four bound.
Spinella, one too many dribbles in the corner. Did he lose it? Big scramble for the loose ball in front of the Kentucky bench. Let's check in with Janine.
Well, Brad, South Carolina coach Darren Horn told his team today before this game, this is no different than any other, just because Kentucky's #1. He said, we have to take care of our business and play to our strengths. He told his guys to have fun and relish the opportunity. And he said his young guys are not intimidated by the Wildcats.
So far, they're hanging in, trailing by 4, but they can't quite get their offense in gear. And most of their offense is the guy that's got the ball right now. Got his man up, Bledsoe, and drew the foul.
Red, he's only 5'9", and again, there's a lot of guys that are faster with a basketball rim to rim. But watch how low he gets. That crossover move, I did a demonstration with him today. He can literally take that thing about ankle high, and once he gets into the tough part of the floor, his ability to draw contact and get away from you and get the shot off is uncanny.
He didn't hurt you today, did he?
No, but he did say at one point, I hope you're guarding me tonight because I'm going to go for a 50.
His career high is 37. We mentioned he had 36 against Florida the other day. He's got 4 right now.
He's an interesting guy for the NBA. A lot of NBA general managers they don't even want to look at a small guard. But there are some teams that will gamble on a guy like this as a spark plug off the bench and an igniter to your offense for 10 or 11 minutes of ball game.
South Carolina goes zone here. Trailing by 2. Wall. Harris almost lost it, and now a cheap foul on Devin Downey. Reaching in on Harris.
No, Kentucky's made a couple of threes in this ball game. South Carolina just stay packed. Good gracious.
Wow. That's Patrick Patterson on the follow. Dodson trying to heat check after hitting the last 3 from the same spot, and Patterson cleaned that up in a hurry. Downey, floater off the glass. Foul again.
And again, he just went by one of the quickest guys in college basketball with long arms, John Wall. It's not because he's quicker than John Wall. It's because he has great control over changing speeds with that basketball.
Yeah, but not only the #1 scorer in the conference, the #8 free throw shooter at 80%.
Fred, watch what he does. He'll kind of lull you to sleep, and then when he drops his center of gravity, he's 5'9", and he becomes about 4'9". It is very difficult to stay in front of this kid.
Trying to cut the lead back to 2. Does. 7 for Downey. 18-16 Kentucky. Cousins with that big body goes inside. Had it rejected partially by Muldrow. Chance for the Gamecocks to tie or lead this trip.
Downey shoots 1 out of every 3 times.
Got the big guy right in front of him, trying to get a screen set on Wall. Muldrow short on the hook, and he fouls Cousins to boot. So every time the Gamecocks have had an opportunity to tie the game or take the lead, Kentucky has either come up with a turnover or, in that case, the foul on the rebound.
Brad, one sign of toughness to me is not allowing one mistake to become 2.
Yeah.
And Mulder took a bad shot, and then he compounded it with a bad foul.
And Wall comes down on the other end, so there's a 4-point swing for you right there. Wall's got a variety of shots. May not be the purest shooter in the world, but he's got a 3 to his credit. And that one, not a lot of people can hit that shot. At least not consistently.
He has a great feel. I don't think you can teach it either. When to force himself into the game offensively and when not to.
Jackson goes strong, but Cousins blocked the shot and got the outlet to Wall on the run. And Cousins now coming back from the other end, and he's fouled. And now South Carolina doesn't have a lot of inside presence, and if that's on Muldrow, it's not. It is on Lakeem Jackson. That's lucky, probably, for South Carolina. 7-18, John Wall from the elbow gives his team a 4-point lead.
I'm Reese Davis, SportsCenter right now, presented by Sprint. Venus Williams taking on Li Na, the 16th seed on ESPN2. That is Lee Na winning the second set. Venus currently has a 4-3 lead in the third. Australian Open action on ESPN2. Michigan State survived against Michigan when Deshaun Sims couldn't get the shot to go from point-blank range at the buzzer. Spartans undefeated in Big Ten play, 57-56. Sports Center after the game. Stay current, ESPN News.
All right, Reese, thanks. That's 2 survivals by Michigan State in the last few days. News and notes, Kentucky, we mentioned first time since 03 that they've been ranked number 1. BYU's number 10, their first top 10 ranking. And Kansas wins again at home. 54 straight home wins.
When they were dominant last night, Cole Aldrich starting to play like that preseason All-American that he was. And if I had to list 4 guys right now for National Coach of the Year, John Calipari for Kentucky, Dave Rose at BYU, Bo Ryan at Wisconsin, and Jamie Dixon from Pitt. I think those 4 guys have had a lot of different things to work through. Dave Rose has worked his battle his way through cancer. Bo Ryan being picked as a non-factor in the league this year, and they're right there again.
Seems like Bo's always got Wisconsin being a factor when they're not supposed to be.
You know why? Guy can coach.
7 points for this guy. 7 points and 7 boards for one of our Star Watch members, DeMarcus Cousins, 6'11" freshman out of Mobile, Alabama. Had 16 points and 14 rebounds in the throttling of Arkansas over the weekend, and he's got 10 double-doubles, which is tied with Jarvis Bernardo of Mississippi State for best in the SEC.
And Brad, I was just listening on South Carolina's huddle during that last timeout, and Darren Horn stressing to his guys, make Kentucky play. Make them play for their shots. And whatever you do, make sure you get back on defense. He has stressed that during the last 2 timeouts.
They're not helping each other much. No assists again and 7 turnovers. We mentioned they're last in the conference in assists, but you don't want to go down the 7-minute mark of the first half and not have a pass go to one of your teammates for a basket.
And well, a lot of their offense is just one-on-one. So it's a premium for Kentucky in this ballgame to defend with the I don't need help mentality behind you.
Downey. He had one that went off the glass against Florida. That one almost banked off the window as well. Kentucky's got its biggest lead, up 6. Cousins in some traffic. Muldrow got a piece of it. Downey almost had it swiped from behind. And now Muldrow, no foul call underneath. Looked like Cousins was all over him. And now there's a whistle in the aftermath. Going to be on Ramon Harris, I think. Will be his first. Unfortunately, this isn't the guy, if you're a South Carolina fan, that you want at the free throw line. Shooting 29%. 8 of 29 on the year. There we go.
We haven't seen the press out of South Carolina yet in this ball game. Could this be the time that Darren Horn in his gut feels like, let's experiment one time and see what happens?
I hope John Reed Jefferson makes me look bad with that prediction about free throws. He got 1 or 2.
Again, no press.
Kentucky's lead 5.
What Janine said, make Kentucky make plays. We're packing in our defense. We should be able to take away the drives, make them make multiple passes, and see if they'll settle for a 3.
And Wall's not in there right now. Bledsoe and Muldrow got a piece of that one from behind again. Downey got his man in the air. Now the pull-up jumper. Got it. That was a good move. He had a big man making a run at him. He wanted to take a 3, but he settled for the 2. And the lead is cut to 3.
Stay inside the 3-point line if you're South Carolina. If Kentucky shoots it, so be it, but keep them out of the lane.
Dotson, he hit that 1-3, and he's become a little bit trigger happy. Feed it inside to the big fella. He takes it strong, but he's going to have to earn it from the free throw line.
Did you see the shoulder bump that he put on that defender to clear out space?
He is a hoss under there.
Watch this. When he catches it, watch the right shoulder. Boom, right there. Just enough to let you know I'm going to the rim.
And now he's going back to the free throw line where he's 2 out of 3. 8 points, 8 rebounds. Pretty strong first half.
Fred, I watched their first day of practice, and I think he really thought he was a 2-guard back on October 15th. And the job that John Calipari has done to get this guy to embrace being a low post scorer, a low post defender, and a guy that must run every time rim to rim in conversion, really understated right now in college basketball.
John Wall came back in between free throws with Bledsoe, Cousins, Patterson, and Darius Miller. So the starting 5 for Kentucky is back out there. Downey has to kick it out. Rayleigh Ross, who's had a couple of big jumpers here in the first half, didn't take it. 8 on the shot clock. Downey through 4 blue jerseys. Can't get it on the inside, but it's kept alive by Jefferson. And he's fouled going up by Darius Miller.
Brett, the shot didn't go by Downey. He can really get you disorganized. His ability to break you down in late clock, 5 on the shot clock. He does a great job of covering up the basketball like a running back as he breaks through the line of scrimmage. And just getting Kentucky scrambled defensively allows for an offensive rebound.
We called that foul on Bledsoe, who got him from behind, not Darius Miller, who was guarding the basket. So Bledsoe picks up his second foul. That'll probably sit him for the rest of this half. Jefferson 1 out of 5 from the free throw line tonight. Eric Bledsoe will sit. DeAndre Jefferson came out of Northwest Florida State Community College. South Carolina native. Done a nice job on the glass. Struggled from the free throw line, but got 1 of 2 again. 24-20. Cousins, the outside jumper. There's that 2-guard thing you were talking about.
Yep, every once in a while it comes back into him. And John Calipari is you know what? To live with one of those a ball game.
Downey so lightning quick. Gets the ball back on a 3. Jefferson, another offensive rebound. But he lost the handle. Had it, lost it. Dotson, he's going to keep firing, I guess. He hit his first one, and he hasn't hit since. Downey speeds his way through traffic. And as they head to the bench, he'll be going to the free throw line when we come back. 3:46, first half, Kentucky by 4.
I'm Reese Davis. Coming up on the UPS Halftime Report, the Spartans use a similar formula to what they used over the weekend, much to Jalen Rose's dismay. ACC, several games including maybe a surprise team that's vaulting to the lead of the pack in the conference. And we'll also show you a Big 12 battle in Waco that is going right down to the wire. Kansas State and Baylor in a barn burner. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, Reese, we'll see you in about 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Speaking of Kansas State, and Kansas at 7 o'clock. Part of our ESPNU Campus Connection Week. We'll start things off. Jimmy and I'll be at Rupp Arena, weather permitting, as Kentucky takes on Vandy at 4. And then Kansas and Kansas State at 7. South Carolina, in the last almost 8 minutes, is 1 of 12 from the floor. But they're only down by 4 points because they've been getting to the free throw line. As has Devin Downey, who is 4 for 4. 5 for 5.
And Brad, the shot ratio for Downey is right on target. South Carolina has taken 24 shots in this game. Downey has taken 9. So he's actually ahead of that 1 every 3 shot ratio that he has going in SEC play.
9 for Downey. Lead cut to 2 again. That's happened several times, but South Carolina has not been able to get over the hump. They're only leads were early in the ball game. Their last one at 4-2. Patrick Patterson, strong inside.
Kentucky did a good job of recognizing man-to-man defense, brought the ball over and let Patterson go to work. You forget how good he is around the rim because he's playing that 3 spot this year at times.
But where does South Carolina's scoring come from other than number 2? This would be the most likely candidate. Brandis Raley-Ross, who's got 5 in the first half, which is as many as he had all of Saturday against Florida. 5 on the shot clock. You know where it's coming from now. Downey, teardrop, won't fall. Cousins, another rebound. His outlet pass is stolen, though. Raley-Ross going to get it back, and he'll try triple. In and out.
South Carolina, they're running snipers, what I call snipers, at Wall right now. Every time South Carolina shoots.
Foul on Jabari Jefferson.
Brad and Jimmy, very interesting Kentucky huddle a couple minutes ago. Coach Calipari said to them, guys, you're fading on me. He said, if you're in the corner, if you're on the baseline, take the shot. He said, I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. He was clearly not happy with their play right now.
He wants them to have that, basically that kill shot. Jimmy, you talked about earlier when they're up 15. Well, they haven't had a chance to get up more than 6 in this one. But when they get a double-digit lead, keep on hammering. They haven't even gotten to a double-digit lead in this one.
No, I don't think the #1 ranking plays with Kentucky's mind at all. They embrace this kind of stuff. John Calipari embraces it. They're not going to play scared. They are playing, you know, a little safe right now. I think it's what the message John's trying to tell his guys. You cannot play safe on the road. You are who you are.
Considering the lack of field goals and the number of turnovers for South Carolina, it amazes me they're only down 5. There's another turnover. And a flush by Dodson on the other end.
You have to be a whole lot tougher with that basketball if you're South Carolina and you have any hopes of pulling off an upset.
Biggest lead now of the night. Kentucky pushes it to 7. Got a Big East ACC doubleheader for you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Fighting Irish and Notre Dame take on the Villanova Wildcats in Game 1. And then at 9, it's the Duke Blue Devils taking on Florida State in a key midseason ACC matchup. All part of ESPNU Campus Connection Week. We're on the campus of the University of South Carolina in Columbia, where the Gamecocks trail by 7. Biggest advantage so far of the night for the #1 team in the country, the Wildcats of Kentucky.
There was no reason to go listen to Darren Horn's huddle. I can tell you what he said. You better start owning your spot with that basketball. You better start making passes with a purpose, or Kentucky's going to hammer you. That's all you have to say in that timeout.
Eight on the shot clock. Downey's got a big man out on him. Going to try to split through and got it to his big man underneath. Nice look. Finally an assist from South Carolina, huh?
And that was a pass with a purpose. Boy, the ability of Downey, so crafty, a magician with the basketball, the lift, the head fakes, the leans. He's got it all.
Patterson, baseline jumper is short off the glass, and Mulder, who just scored on the other end, snaps down the rebound. 1:05 remaining in the half.
The pace of the game, Brad, favors South Carolina. I know they're down 5, but they don't have enough offense outside of Downey for this game to get in the 70s or 80s. So Darren Horn will be happy with the pace of this game the first 40 minutes.
And remember, Kentucky averages 83 a game, which is 8th in the country, 1st in the SEC. Downey trying to draw a foul, didn't get it. And Patterson's got the rebound. Wall hustles it down and maybe hurried it too much. And now the Gamecocks can play for the last shot. The thinking here's got to be we can't do any worse than being down by 5 if you take the last shot. And you could get it as close as 2 if Downey was to knock down a triple. Here comes the double team after him. And he's bumped by Orton.
That's really a bad play by Orton. That's a young freshman not understanding time, score, momentum on the road, how to close out a half. I like the idea to try to double up Downey and get the ball out of his hands. I don't like the idea of Orton being the guy to do it.
So Downey, who's hit 6 straight from the free throw line, with 11 points to lead South Carolina. He's got almost half their points again.
The key to being a #1 ranked team and making a deep run, Brad, I think is this. Kentucky's on pace to play 35 or 40 games this year, okay? Yep. Let's say they play 40 games. I think 6 or 7 times this year they will play less than what they really are, 6 or 7 times above their head. If you can win games when you're not playing your best is the bottom line.
And they turn it over again. So now South Carolina again should have the opportunity for the last shot. After Downey missed a free throw, which is a rarity.
Brad, South Carolina, they're running snipers at John Wall. This time it's Spinella. Every time South Carolina shoots a free throw, a field goal, they are running straight to John Wall and trying to slow down his momentum in that fast break, and it's worked a couple of times.
Downey has a look up. 5 to shoot. He found a little crease, and he scored. 29-26. I think South Carolina will be happy with that. Trailing the #1 team in the country, but by only 3 points, courtesy of the top scorer in the conference.
His ability to cross you over and scramble you up. The concern for Kentucky out of the first half, they have not guarded this guy well, Brad.
Check in with Janine.
Well, Brad, just a few minutes ago, Coach Calipari was telling his guys to take shots. Do you think they're playing a little tentative right now? What are you seeing?
Not everybody. We got 1 or 2 players that aren't trying to get in there and fight like heck. And you know what? But you got to give South Carolina credit. What a great venue this is. They're bringing it to us. They're out hustling us on the offensive glass. And when you're open, you got to let balls go, and we're not right now.
Who are those couple of guys that you need to see a little more from?
We'll talk about it at halftime, because we can't have guys playing tentative. If you're better than a guy, you got to go at him and make plays, and we're not doing it right now. We're also still holding on to the ball too long. There's some things we'll get better at this half, hopefully.
Okay, we'll see you next.
One of those guys doing all right is DeMarcus Cousins with 10 points and 9 rebounds at halftime. But Devin Downey has 13 of the 26 for South Carolina. 29-26 the halftime score. Reese and the guys now with a UPS halftime report.
ESPNU Campus Connection Week.
The crowd is going bananas.
UCONN.
Has it dented the Tar Heels'
I
confidence?
recently spoke with Gerald Henderson.
Students giving you an all-access pass to campus life across the country.
I still feel like we're the best.
This is our house.
Campus life tomorrow might include not going to class if the Gamecocks can upset the #1 team in the country. It's the SEC on ESPN. It's part of our Super Tuesday package presented by KFC. And it is part of ESPNU Campus Connection Week at halftime. Kentucky 29, South Carolina 26. Here they are, Jimmy. This is what we talked about an hour ago. They're #1, big bullseye on the back. Yep. They're playing sloppy right now.
They played 1 half as the #1 ranked team in the country, and neither team has played well. Think about this. Both clubs have 9 turnovers in the first half. They have to clean that area up. Devin Downey single-handedly keeping South Carolina in this game.
Here's your campus right here behind us. That's the Garnet and Black group behind us. I don't know if they're going to school tomorrow or not. Devin Downey's got half of South Carolina's points. Kentucky has 18 of its 29 in the paint. So it's a battle of inside for Cousins and the outside of Downey. And the second half underway.
Downey's missed shots in the first half, Brad, but more importantly, he has gotten his shot off. He has taken 1 out of every 3 shots in this ball game. He's right on track.
Here he is with 10 on the shot clock. On the drive. Hoping that he'd get some help on a rebound and didn't get it. Kentucky pushes it. Bledsoe the lob to Cousins. Cousins picking up where he left off in the first half. He's got 12 points and 9 rebounds, working on another double-double, which would be his 11th of the year.
And how can a guy that big not be picked up by 1 gray jersey? I'm sure Darren Horn is thinking the same dadgum thing.
Yeah, you're right.
So could they use Dominique Archie or what? South Carolina?
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins, I said he picked up where he left off. This was early. He had 2 of these quickly in the early going of the ball game. They just scored the first buck of the second half.
Well, I mentioned Dominique Archie out, 14 points, 6 rebounds. He's that second score that South Carolina desperately needs.
Muldrow missed outside. Now he missed inside, but Jefferson won't. And now getting back in a hurry. Miller might turn it over here in the corner. He does. Well, Jimmy was talking about Dominique Archie. He only played 5 games, injured his knee against Miami. There he is in the turquoise shirt. And they keep him in that second row because he's still on crutches after knee surgery. But you're right. They just needed that one other guy. Of course, a couple guys would help, but 14 and 6 is something they lack. They don't have another presence other than the littlest guy on the floor.
He was, in my estimation, one of the top 15 players in this league.
Yeah.
Their best defender, terrific three-point shooter, offensive rebounder.
How about Jefferson? He has kept it alive all night on the offensive glass to give South Carolina another chance.
They play with more effort around the rim as far as getting those 50-50 balls so far in this game than Kentucky has.
I agree with you. Jefferson's got 8 rebounds. He's a guy that hadn't been playing that much. He's a liability at the free throw line. We've talked about that, but not in the glass. Downey tipped in by Muldrow.
And it all starts again with Devin Downey's ability to break you down defensively, get your defense out of alignment, and just get it up on the rim and hope for a cleanup.
Lead down to 1. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Number 1 team in the country has got their hands full. Bledsoe missed a 3. Downey with a backside rebound. South Carolina hasn't led since it was 4-2. Pull up triple. Got it! If you don't like crowds or loud noises, you wouldn't have wanted to have been in Colonial Life Arena in the last 90 seconds. South Carolina 33, Kentucky 31.
Grab Devin Downey. You can't let him shoot layups at the rim, which he's done now twice to start the second half, and you can't let him shoot threes. You must make him take tough twos. There's a good-looking rhythm transition 3 out of Devin Downey. You take away his threes and his layups at the rim, you've done a good job, and Kentucky has not done a good job so far in this game.
Again, he's almost half of his team's points. He's got them in front for the first time since early in the first half. And this place is rocking.
Now, through the first 19 games, this is where John Wall will assert himself into the ball game, knowing that it's time. Does he do it on the road with a number 1 ranking beside their name?
Cousins asked for it, got it, but fouled by Jefferson. Let's check in with Janine.
Well, guys, Coach Darren Horn told me at halftime that his biggest concern for this second half is the same concern he had at the top of the game, transition defense. He said, we cannot get into a north-south running game with these Kentucky Wildcats. He was very pleased with the play of Devin Downey, but then again, who wouldn't be?
That's for sure.
Well, his answer for transition defense is to quit turning the ball over. Because you turned it over 9 times, and half of those, I believe, in the first half were live ball turnovers. You can't get your defense set against the speed of Kentucky.
The SEC reigning freshman of the week, living up to his billing. 14 points for Cousins, and we're tied for only the second time tonight.
Building was rocking. Kentucky comes out of a timeout, and they go right to the rim with DeMarcus Cousins. That's a sign of a championship quality team.
Jackson. Orton's going to have the rebound. Downey's going to steal it. Tied for first in the country in steals, Rayleigh Ross. Wall up and under. Orton tried to slam it. Still no go. Finally, they tip it in. This is going to be Offensive interference on the rim.
Boy, the bigs of South Carolina, they are undersized in this ball game, but they are quick jumpers, and they have played with a huge ticker so far. That's close.
Rayleigh Ross, who's hit some big shots tonight. I kiddingly said to him before the game, as Downey scores, South Carolina, its biggest lead now.
John Calipari didn't know how his kids would handle the #1 ranking. He's getting ready to find out in the next 15 minutes.
Again, Orton with that big body. And he's fouled. And it's so loud in here, they didn't even hear the first whistle. Devin Downey doing his thing. Jimmy said, don't let him shoot threes. Don't you let him shoot layups. He got one there.
Rhys Davis with you, SportsCenter right now, presented by Sprint. An upset at the Australian Open. Li Na, this is 16th seed, knocked out Venus Williams in 3 sets. Serena is going to play a little bit later on tonight, but Venus is excused from the proceedings, courtesy of Li Na. North Carolina has lost 3 in a row, longest losing streak under Roy Williams, and they're in a world of hurt against NC State. Wolfpack playing well, tied at 43 at the half. SportsCenter after the game, guys. Stay current, ESPN News.
All right, Rhys.
Brad, against Devin Downey, you want to take away threes and you want to take away layups. So you must stay between him and the basket. He wants to shoot threes out here, and he wants to shoot twos at the rim. Bledsoe needs to get right here and make Devin Downey go through him to the rim. He doesn't do it, and watch what happens. He's opened up. He's not taking away a 3 or 2, either one. You must stay between Devin Downey and the rim at all times, whether he has the basketball or doesn't. He's too good of a scorer.
Daniel Orton was fouled by Jackson before the timeout and misses the free throw. Orton, another one of those big freshmen, 6'10", 255-pounder out of Oklahoma City. And he missed them both.
Well, guys, I was just observing Kentucky's huddle, and Coach Calipari is really stressing the rebounding. And when you look at the stats, South Carolina has 12 second chance points off Kentucky's 6. He says, guys, be more aware. You're playing sloppy. He said, just play. You know how to play.
They trail by 4. They haven't trailed that often this year. A 19-0 start, their best since 1966.
Devin Downey earlier this afternoon, I went out and guarded him, and I wanted to see how low he can dribble that basketball. Because I got down in a low defensive stance, and I'm about 6'1". He crossed me up at will, and he's crossing up Kentucky at will so far in this game. He's 5'9", and he will waist-high dribble and then ankle-high dribble. And when that ankle-high dribble is working, you cannot keep this guy out of the lane. Kentucky better start backing off and walling off. When he dances with that basketball, he's going to skip to Malou right by you.
Kentucky now will have it out of bounds on the baseline. They haven't had a field goal in almost 4 minutes. They're 1 for their last 6.
I just wonder how the #1 ranking, the phone calls from the president, all the hype, all the stuff that Kentucky's had to deal with the past 48 hours has affected these Wildcats.
Wall blocked by Jackson. Only 15 on the shot clock.
I'd go to Cousins.
He's going to set a pick. 6 on the shot clock. Bledsoe's going to have to hurry. And he missed it inside. Muldrow will clear the glass. That's a 10th rebound for Muldrow. Trying to get it inside to Muldrow. Picked up by Cousins, and he's just going to go straight up with it, and he got it. South Carolina lead is 6. Cousins in deep and score it. 16 for the big guy.
Just cannot bother Downey. Bledsoe's a great defender. He cannot bother Downey. He takes the ball anywhere he wants to, anytime he wants to.
Muldrow, heat check. Too short. Here comes Wall in a hurry. One hand pass to Cousins. Oh, my. How does a guy that big do that?
Now, that was the first glimpse of the talent that Kentucky can put on the floor, because there was no play to be made. Wall just made a play from about 30 feet away, and Cousins finished it off.
3 for Rayleigh Ross.
Downey is getting enough help in this ball game offensively to pull off the upset. That was the question in the open, and they've answered it.
I started to tell the story earlier. I kiddingly said to Rayleigh Ross while he was shooting before the game, you need about 14 today to help your teammate. He's got 10 right now. Doubleheader for you tomorrow night. Big East ACC first at 7. Villanova and Notre Dame get together, and at 9 o'clock it's Duke against Florida State in a key ACC matchup. It's all tomorrow night on ESPN, part of our ESPN U Campus Connection Week.
Brad, when you're #1 for the first time and you're a young team like Kentucky, 3 freshman starters, everything changes. Everybody becomes better looking, first of all, on campus. And everybody wants tickets, and everybody has new friends. And has Kentucky handled that the last 48 hours well? It's too easy, too early to determine.
That's 20 points for DeMarcus Cousins. Rayleigh Ross has been the help. So has Muldrow tonight to spell number 2. But he's still the man, and he's got it in hand with 15 on the shot clock, looking for a screen. Quick dribble, quick shot. We're going to have it over the back. Might be on Jefferson. If it is, he's got 4, and he's done a nice job on the offensive glass tonight. 3 sensational freshmen. Wall, Cousins, and Bledsoe. All starters, and Kentucky's top 3 scorers. That's amazing.
And I think the numbers for DeMarcus Cousins will continue to grow in this basketball game. South Carolina with foul problems starting to mount up against their front line. And DeMarcus Cousins on the road in a loud building should get a touch every possession for Kentucky for a couple of minutes.
Here's Wall with Downey on the bench. And there's a little glimpse of what he can do. 42-41. Now where does the scoring come from? Is it Rayleigh Ross, or did they try to pack it inside to Muldrow? Rayleigh Ross, a 3. Cousins has got a double-double. 20 points and 10 rebounds. Wall for the lead. Got it.
Brad, remember a couple of minutes ago I said this is the time for John Wall to assert himself into the game. He has a knack, an uncanny feel for when to do it and when he has to do it. And right now he's had to do it, and he has done it.
And Darren Horn knows it. And he's going to try to stop it right now. From a 6-point lead to a 2-point deficit. First it was Wall on the drive and the flush with the left hand. And then if you think he can only do it on the inside, think again.
He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's a tough, determined, a lot of moxie as a 3-point shooter. A very competitive young man, just like Tyreke Evans and Derrick Rose have been under John Calipari.
Huge flow of momentum now has gone back to the blue of Kentucky. When South Carolina stretched their lead to 39-33, they had everything going right. And you've got to think that Devin Downey can't spend, well, he's not on the bench anymore. He's got to come back in.
Well, John Wall, early this season, when it looked like UConn was going to be the first team to knock off Kentucky, John Wall said, not tonight. And he took over that basketball game late. They put Stanley Robinson on him, a 6'8" terrific defender on this play. And John Wall just sealed the deal. Took a blow, kept his concentration. He has some things you cannot teach. He won the genetic lottery. You and I did not?
No.
He did. 6'4", 195 pounds. He's got it.
And South Carolina regain the edge now with Downey back in the lineup. 10 on the shot clock. Looking for a screen from Muldrow. Now he goes against the tall timber. He missed the shot. Battle for the rebound. It's going to be Kentucky ball. Last touch by Sam Muldrow on the far sideline with 11:16 remaining. Top-ranked Kentucky with a slim lead here in Columbia.
Reese Davis with you in the studio. Sports Center endgame update. North Carolina and North Carolina State and Tar Heels starting to assert themselves. Dexter Strickland all the way to the cup. A 6-point lead as Roy Williams tries to stop three-game losing streak, his longest at North Carolina. If you had Rutgers and double their score against the UConn women, you lose. 73-36 the final as the Huskies have now won 59 in a row. They remain undefeated. #1 spot in the women's game, Brad.
All right, Reese, here our Star Watch updated on our Super Tuesday. DeMarcus Cousins, 20 points, 10 rebounds. Devin Downey, 18 points. But Cousins took him away on that last drive, Jimmy.
Look at DeMarcus Cousins guarding a 5'9" Devin Downey. Again, take away his threes, take away his layups, and make him shoot tough twos. And John Calipari could not get to DeMarcus Cousins quick enough right there and saying, attaboy, big fella. That is a great job by a 6'11", 280-pound guy to wall off Devin Downey and make him take a tough two on that last trip down.
So top-ranked Kentucky in front with 11:10 remaining in the ballgame.
Reese just has a way to put things in perspective, doesn't he? Talking about doubling up. UConn's women, how they do it to you.
Oh, boy, there's a cheap foul. Is that 3 on Wall? Oh, it was on Cousins. That's his second.
Just like at Florida on Saturday, South Carolina's goal is at the 4-minute mark of this game to be within 6, 7, 8 points. They are certainly in that ballpark.
I still don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that this guy ends up with 30 or more. Downey, he's done it 7 times in his career. Here he is on the inside. Going to give it off to a teammate in Steed. And out Galloway on the outside. Not a good shot. Bledsoe all the way. Sometimes you get lulled to sleep by the talent of Wall and you forget about this kid.
If you relax one time in your transition defense, Kentucky's going to make you pay. But Bledsoe and Wall, they don't stop themselves. You have to stop them.
South Carolina just stopped itself with an opportunity there. They're down by 4 now, midway through the second half. Bledsoe, Dotson, Cousins, Patterson, and Wall on the floor for Kentucky. Now they've hit 6 of their last 8 shots, and they're back in front by 4. Wall, he has that look. He's going to get fouled by Jackson. He'll go to the free throw line, where he shoots 80%.
You know, Brad and Jimmy, Patrick Patterson has kind of had to take a back seat this year to some of the freshmen on the Wildcats. And he told me he's heard about the blogs that say he doesn't get the recognition he deserves or that Calipari loves the freshmen. But he said, you know what, being 19-0 makes up for it. And he also told me he's graduating this year as a junior. He graduated in 3 years. And if the Wildcats do go on to win a championship, he will feel as though he's accomplished his goal and he can move on.
Well, that's pretty special. Graduating in 3 years, Devin Downey, and now he has 20, and he's got a chance to add to it.
Brad, Patrick Patterson is a great leader. You see the smallest guy on the floor again. He takes it tough too, but just his knack, his feel for where the ball's going to be after a miss. He has all those things in quite a package. But this kid, a great leader. I asked him earlier this season, what defines a leader? He said, first of all, I'm the best listener on the team. So he gets it. But you know what? He also needs to get more aggressive on the offensive end. He has 4 shots in this ball game. He's second in the country in field goal percentage. And he has blended in too much, I think, with these freshmen at times. He needs to take over.
Devin Downey has got 21. And the Gamecocks are back to within 2. Bledsoe found a crease. Went too strong off the glass or he would have had it. And now it's 5-on-4 coming the other way. Downey. Oh, Patterson. Well, he came to the forefront there on defense, didn't he?
Well, what a play by Bledsoe to get to the rim. I mean, he should have punched this thing. He's up high enough. Just rammed that thing home. And John Wall told him the same thing. Look at Patterson. You talk about effort running rim to rim.
I think that's exactly what the problem was for Bledsoe. Indecision when he got in midair about whether he wanted to jam that thing or lay it up off the glass, and he didn't do either one.
You've been there before.
Oh, yeah. Off a trampoline, maybe. 9:11 to go in the ball game. Kentucky by 2. Coming up, we'll see more of Kentucky on Saturday. Jimmy and I'll be there. I hope you join us as they host the Vanderbilt Commodores. Andy, number 23 in the country now. And at 7 o'clock, Sharon Collins and Kansas take on interstate rival Kansas State. We got a lot of college basketball this week for you involving top 25 teams, and there's 4 of them for you. And last year, at this time, you looked at the SEC and you said, where's the top 25 teams? Oops,
there were none.
Empty column. This year, there's the ones we have. And, of course, Vanderbilt in there, as we just mentioned, at number 23.
Vanderbilt certainly a top 25 club. Florida has good resume wins already. They'd be in the tournament as well. 5 or 6 teams this year that the SEC looks like they're going to have in that big dance.
It'll be interesting. Florida and Georgia game tomorrow night. Short on the 3. Spinella actually kept that ball alive down on the baseline. And South Carolina's going to have another chance. Good hustle by Spinella off the bench just to bat that ball down where it would go off a Kentucky player.
Brad, is there a better last place team in any conference in a division than Georgia right now?
I don't think so.
Wins over Georgia Tech, Illinois,
beat Tennessee.
Man.
Downey weaving through traffic, trying to tie the game. We'll try it from the free throw line. You know, it's amazing. We talked about this about 5 minutes ago. And Janine was talking about Kentucky kind of taking their foot off the pedal a little bit. I said to you, you know, they got up 5 points, 47-42. Kind of looked like they were going to just take care of business for the next 9 minutes and win going away. And now they're 2 free throws by Downey away from being tied up again.
And that's one of Cal's criticism of his team so far through 19 games is an inability to get a chokehold and then continue to apply pressure. They haven't done it in this game. But the biggest problem is they can't guard Devin Downey. And he takes that ball anywhere he wants to take it, and that is a problem.
That does have a lot to do with it.
It does.
Second tie of the half, third tie of the game. 47-47. 8.5 to go.
They try to go inside off the bounce or the pass.
Stripped by Downey. We'll get credit for the steal. We said he's tied with Aubrey Coleman of Houston for the #1 spot in the country in steals. That was a big one.
Bledsoe out on Downey right now, not even really sure what he wants to do. Do I honest guard him? Do I back off of him because he's doing anything he wants?
Missed a 17-footer, though, and Patrick Patterson's got the rebound. Wall. Nice drive, just didn't finish. Crowd sort of catching their breath with 7.5 minutes to go. Downey, Cousins stripped him momentarily. Rayleigh Ross with a finger roll off the glass.
Those are the kind of plays, Brad, that go along with an upset. A loose ball that happens to end up in your hands, and you shoot a floater and it drops.
Now Kentucky's got to come from behind again. That's a good place to start. Cousins. And he'll go to the free throw line.
Great hands by Cousins. A scramble for the ball. Rayleigh Ross comes up with it and shoots the floater. Things are going the Gamecocks' way.
You in our house. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by KFC. Ready to unthink the wing? Try new fiery grilled wings only at KFC.
Gamecocks lead by 2, and if you're wondering, what's a Gamecock? Well, as part of ESPNU's Extra Credit, a grad student, Emily Shewart, is going to tell us about it.
If you know what a cockaboose is, then you know that I'm outside of Williams-Brice Stadium. I talked to students to find out if they knew where the term Gamecock came from.
Honestly, I don't really know. Back in the day when they used to play football, a lot of the coaches said that they scrapped like Gamecocks.
Well, the correct answer is that General Thomas Sumter was given the nickname the Carolina Gamecock for his fierce fighting tactics during the American Revolution. For ESPNU Campus Connection, I'm Emily Shewart.
All right, Emily, thanks for straightening that out for us. So General Sumter had something to do with that. If you want to learn more about schools' traditions and see more student-generated content, check out ESPNU. And thanks, Emily Shewart, for your help tonight in Columbia. Brad Nessler and Jimmy Dykes with Ginny and Edwards. We got a good one going, 49-47.
I tell you who's had fierce fighting tactics so far in this ball game for South Carolina continues to be Devin Downey. He's taken 1 out of every about 2.75 shots. Normally he takes 1 out of 3, so he's even beyond that ratio in this ball game. 22 shots out of a 55 total, and he's gotten a free throw strike grab 10 times. Kentucky does not have an answer for him, even on his misses. It's allowing South Carolina with 18 offensive boards. And leading the conference now in double-doubles, having surpassed Jarvis Bernardo. They don't have an answer, South Carolina, for this guy either. Nope. 22 and 10 for DeMarcus Cousins, and he gets a breather after hitting the free throws to tie the game. So Orton comes in to take over for Cousins. Orton is not as good a defender as Cousins, not as quick a foot. See if Devin Downey tries to take advantage of that. He might not get a chance. He's going to be double teamed and bumped by Bledsoe. Well, he's a one-man press breaker. I just have seen no press effective against South Carolina since this guy has been a Gamecock. His ability to control that basketball, change directions, change speeds, keep you guessing, is Darren Horn's best press breaker. Each team with 5 team fouls as we approach the 6:45 mark here. Downey just holds the ball with Bledsoe in front of him. Trying to use a little bit of clock here and shorten the game. Now with 15, they'll start to go to work. Rayleigh Ross has been his biggest compliment tonight. Ross has a look under the shot clock. Now through traffic, off the window, tipped in by Austin Steed. Pretty timely first basket by Steed. Brady, again, the bigs of South Carolina have been more active flying around the rim the first 34 minutes of this game. That's their 19th offensive rebound. South Carolina by 2. They get it in Wall's hands. That's where they want it. He had to give it up, and Downey with a steal. And a foul on Dodson. Or Devin Downey just, again, he knows where that basketball is going to go. When he puts it up on the rim, he knows what direction the miss is going to go. He reads the eyes of the offensive player about as well as you can in the college game. Talked about the sensational freshman for Kentucky, but you don't want it to be a big zero for everybody else on your team. And that means Patrick Patterson hasn't scored, and as Jimmy said, he's a 16-point-a-game scorer. Here's a strip by Dodson, who just was called for the foul, and he missed it.
Downey got around the defender, but he missed the shot. DeAndre Liggins was guarding him that time. Downey has seen everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him here in Columbia tonight. 51-49. We got 5 to play. The #1 team in the country on the ropes a little bit. Cousins can take him off it, and does.
Well, that's your pressure release. In this ball game, I don't think it's John Wall. The pressure release for Kentucky is DeMarcus Cousins. They can't handle him. He's too much of a load.
Downey takes it in hand now again. He's got DeAndre Liggins with those long arms at 6'6" guarding him. But can he stay with him quickness-wise?
You know what Devin Downey is? Reese Davis will appreciate this. He is the classic hard to guard.
Pull up 3 by the little guy. Off the mark. Steed had a hand on it, and it's tipped out of bounds by Liggins. It'll be South Carolina ball.
Again, if you're going to pull off an upset, you have to play well, but you also have to get some breaks. And South Carolina has gotten a couple of breaks in the last 2 minutes. A loose ball and then a blown easy dunk. And see DeMarcus Cousins grab the headband. But they better lock in and not be sensitive to the missed opportunities, or they're going to get their first loss hung on them in Columbia.
Aaron Horn, last year, his club swept Kentucky. This is a much better Kentucky team than the one he swept last year. First time and only time they've done that since 1997. And that was a really good Gamecock team that year. There's the last shot by Downey. Way off the mark.
I don't think it hit the rim. Is that what it's checking?
May not have.
I don't think it did. I think it was wide left.
Again, Mike Stewart, John Cahill, Mike Nance, our officials will take another look from right behind Devin Downey. Boy, it might not have. Seems almost impossible that it could hit that part of the window and not hit. I don't think it did.
No, it didn't.
It went right under it.
Right under it.
You could probably do that 50 times and never miss without hitting the rim like that, but at least in our opinion, we think it did not hit the rim, and that will not make it a 35-second shot clock. They'll have to go back and again take a look at the straightaway shot by Downey, at which point then it was knocked out of bounds by Liggins. It did not hit the rim, and that's going to mean only 2 seconds, I think, is what they're going to put it down to on the shot clock, and that does not give you any chance unless you get it and hoist it right away. That's what they're going to have to try to do. But first of all, they've got to get the clock reset so the fans know what's going on.
Yeah, that was great awareness by the officials. That would have been an easy one to miss. And they were right on top of it.
There it is. All right, well, that changes the whole complexion of this inbounds pass, obviously. Let's see if Devin Downey can run around a screen, get a pass from Rayleigh Ross, and even get a shot away, or do they lob it inside to Muldrow?
Yeah, it's a Muldrow.
Downey got it! And one!
Hard to guard.
Maybe impossible. That seemed like an impossible shot.
Well, first of all, he fights for the catch. He was bound and determined to get that basketball in his paws. He was tougher than DeAndre Liggins. With 2 seconds to go, he knew the most important thing was just go get the basketball. And boy, he fought for it now.
26. Somehow trying to will his team, the smallest guy on the floor, has given the Gamecocks a 3-point lead. We got 4 and change to play.
Cousins has to demand this basketball. He has to want to be the pressure guy right now for Kentucky. There's the demand.
There's the move inside. Rejected by Muldrow. Five block shots for Muldrow. We said he's number 2 in the conference to Bernardo. And he has played A whale of a game defensively on the inside. 3.5 to go. Top-ranked Kentucky trailing by 3. Downey off the glass. And a chance for a three-point play for Cousins.
I love DeMarcus Cousins. Gets his shot blocked on the last possession, and they trust him to come right back, and he has a chance for a 3. The bottom line in this game, Kentucky has no answer for number 2 in Gray right now. Cross you up, gets you guessing. Here 1 second, gone the next. You cannot defend what you can't see.
South Carolina has never beaten a number 1 team. The last time they hosted one was 1977 against Michigan. They lead 56-53. To update our Star Watch from the beginning of the game, I think we picked a couple pretty good ones. DeMarcus Cousins is a free throw away from tying his career high in scoring, and he's got his 11th double-double. And what can you say about Devin Downey?
Other than they can't guard him, I can tell you this. Devin Downey, Brad, again, coming into tonight, was averaging 1 shot out of every 3 that South Carolina takes in SEC play. Tonight, he's almost at 1 shot out of every 2 that they've taken. That's how unguardable he's been in this ball game. He's getting his shot off anytime he wants.
DeMarcus Cousins has matched his career high. And now Devin Downey, who we said earlier, we still think has a good chance to get 30. He's working on it. He's got 28. And we're under 3 minutes.
He gets separation to keep that 6-foot barrier broken to eliminate that 5-second count.
What a spin move against Wall. Oh, and he hit another one.
Kentucky better get real aggressive instead of walking that ball up the floor.
They did even worse. They turned it over. Gamecocks by 4. 2:20 to play. Can anybody stop this kid? They double team. And he's going to call timeout. We have seen 2 of the greatest back-to-back performances that Jimmy and I think, have seen in SEC action in a long time. Devin Downey, in a heartbreaking loss, had 36 points in the 2-point setback against Florida. And tonight, he's got another 30.
Brad, he has knocked down 3s, and he has beaten Kentucky off the bounce at will. His ability at 5'9" to find the basketball and just be tougher. Fight for drives, fight for catches, fight for loose balls. Take it right at Kentucky's size. He's done it time and time again. Hard to guard is Devin Downey in this ball game. And he's making a case to throw his name into the National Player of the Year conversation. He took on the leading candidate, John Wall, and so far, man-to-man, Devin Downey standing.
Top 10 plays of the game. He might be on SportsCenter about 3 times.
Yeah, you're right. John Calipari wanted to find out how his guys would handle the number 1 ranking. But he's going to learn a lot over the next 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
They're going to run Patterson after Downey again, but he got around Patterson and Wall, and he got it to Steve.
Brad, that's the gamble. You try to speed the game up because Downey's controlling it off the bounce, and you stretch your defense, and he makes you pay.
Wall goes coast to coast in a hurry, but prior to that, it was a 6-point lead, which matched the biggest of the night for South Carolina. Rayleigh Ross going to pull it out, and he's fouled from behind by Dodson.
Kentucky extended their defense to 3-quarter court just to try to speed the game up and make Devin Downey give it up. But again, he's a one-man press breaker. I've never seen this guy against any press turn it over or not be able to advance the ball up. And he made Kentucky pay again.
I don't want to vote for SEC Player of the Year because we got a lot of season left. I know one of my guys that's in the top couple.
You're right. In the last AP National Player of the Year to not be named Conference Player of the Year was our own Duke's Jay Williams. Back in 2002, he lost out the ACC Player of the Year to Juan Dixon, but he won the National Player of the Year. Could that happen this year between John Wall and Devin Downey?
Rayleigh Ross has got 14 points to help Devin Downey in the scoring column. Gamecocks by 6. Minute 40 to go. As Wall goes straight to the basket again, he's fouled. It'll be on Lakeem Jackson. And that's 4 on Jackson. Sports Center will follow us. Scott Van Pelt, Steve Levy will be standing by. They might be talking about an upset of the #1 team in the country. Or will John Wall and Kentucky find a way to come back? I don't think you want to leave us now, and you certainly don't want to miss Sports Center.
Is there enough time left for John Wall to take over this basketball game? Because he has done it 5 or 6 times through their first 19 victories. The problem is number 2 in gray has controlled this basketball game on his end.
Kentucky's freshmen have 29 second-half points. The rest of the team has 0. And Devin Downey's got the ball in his hands and nobody can catch him. A minute and a half to go. Downey with 30 with Wall on his hip.
He keeps enough separation to keep that 5-second count off of him.
Threw everybody up and he missed it. He went through 4 blue jerseys, but he missed the shot. Wall the other way. Rejected by Steve. And they're going to push Muldrow in the backcourt.
Devin Downey again, Brad. He's just ripping right through any shadow defender, any third defender, any wall that they throw at him. And on the other end, again, the bigs of South Carolina have been so active in this game. 20 offensive rebounds. They've blocked shots. They've keeping John Wall from getting to the rim several times. South Carolina has played harder 39 minutes of this ball game so far.
Austin Snead came into this game with 7 block shots. He's got 2 in about the last 3 minutes that have been huge. And now Sam Muldrow, a 68% free throw shooter, is at the stripe. Cousins with another board. A minute to play. Kentucky down 4. 3-pointer. Kept alive by Patterson. Wall to try to cut the lead. Patterson another offensive rebound. And Wall in the corner. Timeout by Kentucky. It is getting fast and furious in the final 43 seconds. 18,000 in Colonial Life Arena, and they have gotten their money's worth. That's what you call being connected to your campus.
At 2 o'clock this afternoon, when John Calipari walked out of the shoot-around, he looked at me and he said, I'll tell you a lot more about my team at 11 o'clock than I know about them right now. They have not handled the #1 ranking like a veteran ball club. The veterans for Kentucky have not handled the #1 ranking like a veteran ball club. In the second half, they still have not scored. It's been freshman dominated again by Kentucky, and it is so difficult to get to that championship game with 3 starting freshmen on the floor and all that inexperience. They've held up their end, but the older guys have not.
The officials are asking for the last 10 seconds to be shown to them. As to where the timeout was called and at what point the shot clock would be, I think is what Mike Stewart, Mike Nance are trying to figure out over there.
It looked like the shot clock was down to about 31 or 32, and then what's the shot clock? It's kicked back out. It's at 35. Draws iron again, reset it. Now watch what happens. It's at 33, 32, and then it jumps to 35. That's the issue, Brad.
Yep, they got to take about 3 seconds off the shot clock, I think, with the timeout that was called at the Kentucky bench. All important final 43 seconds of this game. We'll let those guys take their time to make sure they get it right.
Keep an eye on it. It's at 33, 32. The whistle's blown, and the shot clock goes to 35.
DeMarcus Cousins tonight matching a career high that he set back in November against Sam Houston State with 27 points. A double-double again, his 11th of the year. He's been unbelievable on the inside for Kentucky. Patrick Patterson, the veteran, has the last 2 rebounds. How big were they? To keep the possession alive for Kentucky.
Brad, Kentucky's only made 3 3-pointers, I believe, in this ball game. They don't need a 3 right now. Want enough time to inbound this basketball, pound it inside, and score, or at least get to the free throw stripe and try to extend this game. They miss a 3 here, and it might be lights out.
2 of those 3s have come from John Wall. The other one from Dotson on his first shot of the ball game. So now they put the shot clock down at 28 seconds. We've seen them both. 36 and 30.
He almost single-handedly beat Florida, and he's about to single-handedly beat Kentucky. 43 ticks away from it.
Inbounds play. They got it into Patterson. They get it right back to Wall. Wall drives. Spinella fouled him and one.
I love the decision by John Calipari in the timeout to not draw up a play for a 3-point shot. Take this thing to the rim, either off the bounce or off the pass. And the strength and the toughness of John Wall to wrap that ball up, knowing that the contact's going to come after the hit occurs. Then he releases it from his body and gets it up on the rim.
Let's see if he can cap the 3-point play to make it a 1-point game. Yes. 18 for Wall. 62-61. 5-second difference on the game clock and the shot clock. Downey, they'll try to trap him in the backcourt. Nobody's been able to trap him yet tonight. I don't know if they can now here either. They don't. They're still trying. Downey weaves through traffic. And Wall trying to foul Whaley Ross. And does. Just in case this thing doesn't go to overtime, Wall's got 4 fouls.
South Carolina was going to have to take the shot. There was enough difference in the game clock and the shot clock to force a shot and get it back. That's not the foul that John Calipari wanted. But you know what? Missed free throw, and it might work out to their advantage.
Whaley Ross has hit the 2 he's tried. 78% free throw shooter on the year. 14 points on the night. He's been a big help in the scoring column for Devin Downey in the Gamecocks. Ripped the first one. 2-point game. This one all important, obviously. The senior out of Charlotte.
That even if he makes it, it's a 3-point possession game. Kentucky still just needs to drive it and get a 2-point basket and stay in the ball game. Not a missed 3 right here. Go to the rim.
Final 20 seconds. Backdoor cut by Wall. Off of Wall and out of bounds. Now do they foul South Carolina immediately? 18 seconds left. They want to get it in Downey's hands, but that's going to be tough. They get it to Muldrow.
Got to get him.
And Cousins fouls Muldrow. Muldrow 0 for 1 from the stripe tonight. 16 seconds remaining.
And Muldrow In conference play, only a 60% free throw shooter. Kentucky did a good job of doubling up Devin Downey and keeping it out of his hands, forcing someone else to go down and make free throws.
Sam Muldrow Jr. out of Florence, South Carolina. He's never had a double-double. He hits these 2 free throws. He's got his first double-double, and he might have the biggest win the Gamecocks have ever had, never having beaten the #1 team. 8 points on the night, double figures in rebounds. First one comes out. This one makes it a 2-possession game if he hits it. Got the second. 4-point game with 16 seconds to play. #1 Kentucky trailing, and Wall is tripped. It was accidental, but tripped by Galloway. He was just trying to stay with him, and they got their feet tangled up.
Best scenario for Kentucky just happened. The clock stops. Only 3 or 4 seconds was wasted, and Kentucky has a chance to put 2 points on the board and force South Carolina to inbounds it one more time and then make free throws one more time.
Wall is 4 out of 5 tonight from the line. And that's what he shoots on the year. 80%. Got the first one. 18 for John Wall. So calm in the face of what Kentucky fans would consider a disaster when they run out 19 straight wins and get to #1. And will it only last one day, that #1 ranking? Missed the second. Rayleigh Ross has got the rebound, and he's going to be fouled in the backcourt. And if Rayleigh Ross can hit these 2, that might be good enough.
John Calipari wanted to know, could his guys win a tough game when they don't play their best? Well, they have not played their best tonight, and this has been a tough game. And they're 10 seconds away from being eliminated from the only team on that unbeaten list.
Look at the night this guy's had. But now the biggest shots are at hand. There goes one. #1 Kentucky. There might be a 1 in the loss column 10 seconds from now. I'll tell you what, part of ESPNU's Campus Connection Week, I wouldn't want to be teaching an 8 o'clock class at this school tomorrow morning, because you might be all alone. 3-quarter, no good. Rebound, South Carolina. They're going to win it. The last #1 to come in here was in 1977. I was still in college. My partner was still in short pants.
It's been a long time since I've seen a better individual performance on a major stage with so much at stake than what I witnessed tonight from Devin Downey. 5'9" in heels is how I described him on Saturday. But the size of his Valentine, you cannot wrap your arms around. They made the announcement to stay off the court. They ain't going to listen to that announcement, partner.
#1 lasted all of a day and a half. So close on Saturday against Florida. Tonight was even sweeter for the Gamecocks. Ginny.
Coach Horn, South Carolina had never beaten a #1 ranked team. How did you guys get it done tonight?
Well, our guys had tremendous resolve tonight, Janine. Great faith, stuck through it no matter what. And I'm so happy for our seniors and for our fans in this state. This is a huge win for our program, and just really happy for everybody involved.
What makes Devin Downey so tough to guard? What makes him so good?
Well, the most important thing is his heart. He is fearless. He's fearless. He has no fear, and he's got great pride, and he can just get a shot whenever he wants. He's special.
What is this moment like for you?
It's great, but like I said, really happy for our players and for our fans. We've got great fans. They deserve a win like this.
And guys, he hugged his kids, and he said, unbelievable. It is an unbelievable night for South Carolina.
No doubt about it. I don't know when the last time a coach in his first 3 outings has beaten Kentucky, but Darren Horn has. A sweep last year and a stunner over the top-ranked team in the country here in Columbia tonight. That's why we call it Super Tuesday. Final score, South Carolina 68, top-ranked Kentucky 62. That's going to wrap it up from Columbia. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Jimmy Dykes, Janine Edwards, and our entire ESPN crew, from the mayhem that is Colonial Life Arena, Brad Nessler saying good night. SportsCenter's next.